Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Certainly over the last few days, it seems like everybody has had a go at Nicola Sturgeon over these supposedly missing WhatsApps. Douglas Ross from the Tories, Anna Sawar from Labour, Jackie Bailey from Labour, even Kate Forbes from the SNP itself has had a go and mentioned these things. In fact, the only person who's defender, of course, is Humza Yousaf. But there is one person who has yet to be heard, and we've got him here now, and that is Alex ColeHamilton from the Liberal Democrats. Seems it's only fair. We can't mention everyone else and not let Alex have his say as well. Plus, it's just nice to see that you've got the full set then, haven't you? Everybody moaning about her, all four major parties moaning about her, with one sole solitary lone defender. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, here's what Alex has to say about the missing messages. And it isn't good. Here goes. So, Nicola Sturgeon deleting WhatsApp messages could be the biggest national scandal of devolution, says Alex ColeHamilton. And I think he could be right. But that said, we don't know what else is going to come out with the SNP, do we? There's lots. There's much that's hidden. And I think there's much that will come out when whoever goes in next sees the records. Anyway, the Scottish Liberal Democrat leader, Alex ColeHamilton, was scathing in his opinion on the former First Minister, for refusing to confirm whether she deleted the COVID messages, said this could result in legal action. And boy, do we all hope it does. We would all pay good money to be in that court, wouldn't we? Nicola Sturgeon potentially deleting her WhatsApp messages. I don't think there's anything potential. I think she's definitely deleted them. Could be the biggest national scandal in devolution, claimed Scottish Lib Dem leader Alex ColeHamilton. He also claimed that she could arguably face legal action if this was found to be true. The former First Minister is under increasing pressure to admit whether or not she wiped the correspondence related to COVID pandemic from her phone, despite the Do Not Destroy order, and she failed to confirm or deny these allegations when confronted by journalists. Now, we did the story earlier, you may remember. If you're a regular viewer, you certainly will. Where we said that the argument she was using was that it was, what's the word? Confidential matter. Or we were told, not to discuss all this, blah, blah, blah. Turns out, no. There was a confidential... She claims the confidentiality agreement was in place, and it's the inquiry themselves, the COVID inquiry themselves says, no, it isn't. You can tell. You can freely tell people. We don't care. As long as you don't reveal the content of the messages, you can talk about whether you've deleted them or not. And so now she's very, firstly caught in another lie. But now, of course, she can't use that lie. So she'll have to think of another one, because there's no way she's answering that question and going to court. Anyway, Mr. ColeHamilton, who will be leading his busiest autumn Lib Dem conference since becoming a parliamentarian on Saturday. Oh, he's only been a parliamentarian since Saturday. Oh, that reminds me. Must clarify. Seems I am incapable of forming a coherent sentence. I just want to confirm one thing that a few of you have picked up and mentioned in the comments. I only have one wife. Those of you who made the mention know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, the decisions made during the pandemic are a matter of public record, and we all had to live through them. But as we're seeing from the UK inquiry, the actual discussions and the power dynamics and the weighing of politics versus science was crucial to how decisions were formed. Now, that's another thing. I mean, this is something else that the SNP do. They go, oh, God, look, we've got to close down, lockdown, follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Okay, let's follow the science. Men aren't women. Yeah? Men and women, different. That's the science. But apparently, follow the science only counts when you want it to count, not when you don't want it to count. Hypocritical much? Yeah, of course you are. There is a woman who looks haunted, doesn't she? And she's aged terribly. She's looking like a Russian grandmother now. But that's a woman who's seen her future. She's looked into the abyss of her future. And it's looked back. That is a woman knows she's in deep, deep trouble. Anyway, talking about the scandal now. Anyway, so we're seeing that played out in glorious Technicolor in London, but we may not get that at all in Scotland. And if that's the case, and she deliberately deleted those messages to hide embarrassing realities at the time, that is a national scandal, perhaps one of the biggest scandals in devolution. The Lib Dem leader also suggested the messages could have been wiped because they would have showed that Ms Sturgeon made decisions just to be different from Boris Johnson, which again we've covered and we know that's true. Even Boris was saying the first thing we do is you get her on board. Now you sit in a room with her, you'd make an agreement, she'd say yes, then she'd run out straight and had to be the first one to hit the press and announce something completely different from what had been agreed in the room. They knew at that point they'd made the mistake of doing this on a four-nation approach rather than doing it under the auspices of the Emergency Powers Act and sort of just throwing banks run from Cobra in Westminster, which would have been the best way, and it would have cut the legs off her and she wouldn't have been able to do all the shit she was doing. Anyway, he said if she's guilty of doing this, then she will be judged severely by the tens of thousands of bereaved ones loved ones who've lost their people. I think she should be judged severely by the courts, myself. He added, it may be that she never faces any real sanctions or legal sanctions, although arguably the destruction of evidence after being cited by an inquiry should carry some kind of legal consequence. The courtroom of public opinion will render its judgment, and that judgment will be severe. Yeah, I don't want the court of public opinion. I want a court. And then jail. For many, many years. In terms of Humza Yousaf, Mr. ColeHamilton does have sympathy for the First Minister, considering his in-laws are trapped in Gaza. Breaking news on that one. Literally, as I went to do this video, it popped up and they have got out. So I'm sure you were all very, very worried. Anyway, he mentions that he has messaged him privately to share his concerns and hopes he gets a good outcome soon. Yeah, they have got through. They're in Egypt now. But I don't know why he went with that woman, because he hates white people, but his first wife was white, and then he marries a girl who's half white. So much as he hates whites, he seems to like, dipping one. Anyway, as the new SNP executive leader, he was given a tough task, and he is powerless to stop the collapse of the SNP. Oh, the SNP is crap. This is Alex ColeHamilton talking about Humza, saying that Humza is powerless to stop the collapse of the SNP, which he is. Literally, we did the video earlier. He could be down to possibly 6, possibly fewer than 6 MPs. And at that point, they ain't getting anywhere near the money they need from Westminster. They could go absolutely bankrupt almost immediately if that happens. Boy, we're waiting for that to happen, aren't we? Anyway, he says this is the fault of the predecessor, who's been engulfed in numerous scandals since leaving office, including branch fraud. And after her reputation had fallen since she stepped down, Mr. ColeHamilton said, unquestionably. He said, I get that on the doorsteps time and time again. People saying, I used to like Nicola, but now I'm not so sure. And he says, I can't speak, obviously, to a live police inquiry, but that has cast a pall over her legacy. In fact, people are now asking, well, what actually did she do in her time in office? Well, she destroyed Scotland. She made everything worse. She divided a nation. She introduced hate and division where there wasn't before. She oversaw the creation of a power base of thuggery. But hey, other than that, she did quite well. And then he goes on talking about her, and I'm not going to get on about all the crap. He's just doing a bit of politicking there. But yeah, he's another one. Sort of says that what she's done is wrong. She needs to face justice, but he doubts if she ever will. I think she might, but just not the proper justice. Might be a bit of vigilantism, something like that, but not real justice, I'm afraid. Anyway, I shall round off. Thank you for your input, Mr. Hamilton. We'll finish the video. So yeah, I think I will draw a line under this sort of missing WhatsApps for now. I mean, unless either they turn up or there is some kind of sanction against them, or there's something important, newsworthy, I think we'll draw it there. We'll move on. We'll just carry on with other stuff. And boy, there's always other stuff, isn't there? The SNP is just always other stuff. It's a shit show, isn't it? It's great fun, though. I mean, it's the party that's launched 1,000 YouTubes. Incidentally, talking of 1,000 YouTubes, I'll be doing a very short one, a little piece to camera, a little sort of flash video at some point this afternoon. And I would ask all of you who watch this one, do keep an eye out for it. Do press the subscribe button so you don't miss it. Hit the subscribe button and watch this video. It's only going to be about 30 seconds, 40 seconds long. But it's just something I want to do for you. And you'll see why when you see it. So thank you very much. Anyway, moving on. We'll get on to the next video. But this one is over and done and dusted. Thank you and goodbye.